3, 2, 1. Yo, what's up, people? This is Robert Bassano. Planete Veritas. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Tonight, we got document review. We're going to be talking about some science, or what we think we believe it to be science. It's superluminal signals, busting c squared, the speed of light. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. Einstein going to get kicked in his nuts again, but this time real hard. Really hard. Now, I want to thank everybody who's here and who may be watching, and you've shown up. Tonight we got Robert Shortman in here with us. We got my boy Deva from Claim Your Inheritance. We got my boy John. All right, you guys all know who John is, right? We got Vivian. He's here with me in Colombia, in Medellin. He was on the last hangout we did. We got Luke Francis, out of the Caribbean, alien chaser, my man, the one who says that the sun is actually recharging the moon. We're still working on that too. So, what I want to start off first with on this this hangout, this video discussion, a lot of you may be asking, what is superluminal? Period. All right. It's just faster than the speed of light. All right. It's a phenomenon. But we're going to be talking about signal transmission. There are a whole bunch of other areas of discipline and research involving superluminal electromagnetic wave propagation, but for this hangout, we're just going to be talking about signal transmission, because there's the general standard data put out there about signal transmission and light transmission is that light is a constant. The speed of light is a constant, 186,000 and change, 186,000 miles and change per second. Okay, light. The speed of light is not a fucking constant, okay? And we're going to show that to you. We're going to prove that to you with the data we have. It's all about documentation, right? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And you guys know me. It's all about showing the documentation, breaking it down, and just basically bringing it back to you like Winnie the Pooh, right? If you look in the description section, there's 3 links there. So if you want to click on Superluminal, and that link to scienceworld.wolfram.com, you can click on that and read along with us. And I'm going to basically read the definition of what this actually is, so that we got a starting point to begin from, so you guys understand what it is we're going to be discussing. Okay? So let me do a quick share screen here for you guys. You guys out on my panel there, just let me know that everybody can see this when I bring it up. And here we go. So it's clear for everybody. And again, I put the link in the description section so everybody can see it. So this is Eric Weinstein's World of Physics, Wolfram Research. And here's how they discuss what they describe as superluminal. Superluminal phenomenon is a frame of reference traveling with a speed greater than the speed of light, c. All right, we all know Einstein's famous bullshit-ass equation, E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, right? Of course, we know that Einstein wanted to change that. I did a video about that too. After he talked to Tesla, Tesla just basically looked at it and says, that shit ain't right, because you're trying to factor in gravity. There ain't no gravity. It's all about pressure, velocity, and acceleration, right? They go on to state that there is a putative class of particles dubbed tachyons, which are able to travel faster than light. Faster than light phenomena violate the usual understanding of the flow of time, a state of affairs which is known as the causality problem, and also called the Shalimar Treaty. I don't have any idea what the hell the Shalimar Treaty is. Okay, that'll be something we'll address. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna look it up, because I'm looking at this for the first time as well. It should be noted that while Einstein's theory of special relativity prevents real mass, energy, or information from traveling faster than the speed of light, Lorentz et al., everybody already knows who Henry Lorentz is, right? He tried to work on developing an experiment to detect the ether and the movement of the Earth, and he failed. And they found out, well, shit, we can't detect it, so it ain't moving, all right? So they said there's nothing preventing apparent motion faster than c, the speed of light, or in fact, with negative speeds, implying arrival at a destination before leaving the origin. Let me read that again. With negative speeds, implying arrival at a destination before leaving the origin. So that gets me thinking, if I say, okay, I'm going to go to the store and come back, and we're looking at each other, right, Vivid? And you look at me and you're like, okay, when are you going to be back? Well, shit, I already came back. You'd be like, what? What? You did what? You left and came back? Well, yeah, I already left, I already arrived at the destination and came back before leaving the origin. For example, the phase velocity and group velocity of a wave, John, may exceed the speed of light, but in such cases, no energy or information actually travels faster than the speed of light. Experiments showing group velocities greater than the speed of light include that of Wang. That's your document, John, you're going to be reading, who produced a laser pulse in atomic cesium gas with a group velocity of minus 310 plus or minus 5 times the speed of light. In each case, the observed superluminal propagation is not at odds with causality, and instead a consequence of classical interference between its constituent frequency components in a region anomalous dispersion. Wang et al. 2000. John's going to read that document. It turns out that all relativistic wave equations possesses infinity families of formal solutions with arbitrary speeds ranging from 0 to infinity, called undistorted progressive waves, UPWs, by Rodriguez and Liu. However, like the arbitrary speed plane wave solutions, UPWs have infinite energy and therefore cannot be produced in the physical world. Now, that didn't make any sense to me. If UPWs have infinite energy and can't be produced in the physical world, then John's going to discuss how this whole phenomenon and Einstein's theory of relativity with regard to the speed of light is debunked because you can't produce it here on Earth. You can't replicate that experiment. All right? It can't be produced. However, approximations to these waves with finite energy, called finite aperture approximations, can be produced and observed experimentally. Among the infinite family of exact superluminal solutions of the homogeneous wave equations and Maxwell's equations are waves known as X-waves. X-waves do not violate special relativity because all superluminal X-waves have wavefronts that travel with the speed parameter, speed of light, that appears in the corresponding wave equation. The superluminal motion of the peak is therefore a transitory phenomenon similar to the reshaping phenomenon that occurs under very special conditions for waves in dispersive media with absorption or gain, and which is in this case responsible for superluminal negative group velocities. Now, I'm not going to go on and read the rest. That shit was a mouthful. But understand this. Just reading these few paragraphs, it's real fucking clear. It's real clear that even the discussion of debunking Einstein's theory of the speed of light, c, means that they're trying to maintain this but not totally make him look like a fucking liar. Make him look stupid. We're going to do that job for them. Okay? Because they didn't want to go with this information but totally disregard what Einstein was discussing with regard to special and general relativity. All right. So based on what I just read to you guys here right now, I'm gonna let John take the floor. John's gonna bring up a document which basically breaks it down, and he's going to discuss this. He said in 45 seconds. I guarantee this shouldn't be 5 minutes, but it'll be a great 5 minutes. So, John, I'm going to go ahead and mute. You go ahead and do your thing, brother.
Hey, you need to pull that document up, brother.
The one you're going to talk about?
Is it possible for superluminal signal velocity without causality?
All right, I'm going to pull it up right now. It's coming up.
This is going to be real quick.
Can everybody see it?
No.
It's coming. 1 second.
So Li Gang Wang is the guy that was mentioned in that definition on Wolfram's science site explaining superluminal phenomenon. So here's the document right here. Go for it, Jay.
All right, scroll down. Scroll down. We're looking for, in order to answer the above questions. So go down.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, there you go.
Go ahead, pull that right up in the middle. Go ahead and highlight that.
There you go.
Okay, this is the beginning and the end of my discussion.
Go ahead, bro.
This summarizes everything he just said before it, and this summarizes the document in general. So in order to answer the above questions, pay attention now, we turn to present the strict numerical simulation on the pulse evolution based on equations 2 and 3.
Now, do I need to scroll the questions 2 and 3? I mean, equations 2?
No. We turn to present the strict numerical simulation. Well, I have a numerical simulation too. It's 0 equals 0. Now give me my Nobel. I'm done. Go on.
Wow.
Come on, man. I seriously.
That's called magic.
Okay. So in basic terms, break it down for us. You're saying that this faster than the speed of light is not possible.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that what he's talking about earlier in this document is all based on a numerical simulation.
Okay, so let me just, for everybody, just for argument's sake, let's go to the beginning. Let's go up to the beginning, because he says what they're presenting, and this is it possible for a superluminal signal velocity without violating causality? Okay. Now, for those that want to know, okay, what are they talking about when they're saying violating causality? Something's got to be moving at that speed. You got to have some sort of information, some data. All right, the signal. All right, signal velocity. And he says here, we present a model for a vacuum-like effective medium.
You could stop. You could stop right there. We present a model. Well, what's a model?
It's a control. It's a control experiment.
It's not a controlled experiment. They present a model because they don't have a hypothesis.
Exactly.
That's why they present a model, and I just showed you what their model was.
Okay, but again, come on. We can't make this a 30-minute show, bro.
I told you, and you didn't believe me.
But let's go through it for people so they can get a broader picture of this. All right. He says we present a model for a vacuum-like effective medium. Now we all know you can't create any vacuum here on Earth. Okay, you can only create a vacuum-like environment. But A vacuum-like environment is not a vacuum. It's like a vacuum. You're close to it, but close enough is not fucking good enough. So they say composed of the absorbing and gain media under the special design parameters. Within the linear response theory, we prove that any pulse signal with or without a discontinuity through such a kind of vacuum-like effective media is always equal to the light speed in vacuum, c, without any distortion. As well known that the group velocity in anomalous or normal dispersive media may be smaller or larger than the speed of light or even become negative, but the discontinuous point always propagates at the velocity of the speed of light. Therefore, we present some discussions on different definitions of the signals based on the light pulses with well-defined shape or with a sudden change for trying to understand two possibilities for the signal velocity without violating the causality. So, John's right. We don't need to go any fucking further, because this goes to what I had initially said when I read the definition for superluminal phenomenon. What they're doing is trying to maintain Einstein's so-called unproven theory, where he's saying the speed of light travels in a vacuum. I mean, I had an hour-long conversation with Eric Dollard on this. That shit's on my channel, and I agree with Eric Dollard. Light doesn't travel in free space. Period. It sure as hell don't travel in a vacuum. Sure as hell don't travel in a vacuum. Period. So they're trying to maintain Einstein's theory of relativity and special relativity with regard to using the standard model equation of c squared, the speed of light squared, as the basis for determining causality. All right? We know everything travel. We know that signal propagation in light travel faster than the speed of light. Period. We just don't know how fast it's traveling. It's going faster than 186,000 miles a second, but we don't know how fast. We just know that, hey, how I'm speaking right now, and everyone can hear this. If you got an updated computer and you can hear me speaking, you're hearing me speaking in what you believe to be real time, okay? But technically speaking, from a systems engineering point of view, and Robert Shortman and Vivian can tell you this as well, what you're hearing is not real time. It's near real time. It's just so fast to where it appears that what you're hearing in my voice, I'm speaking to you right now, but there's at least maybe 1/100th of 1/100,000th of a second delay. I mean, including my thoughts. Whatever I'm thinking, when it comes out of my mouth, it's old. It's old information. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's quantum communications, people. That's quantum communications.
If quantum mechanics tells you that space and time are mere illusions, period. End of story. We can all go home.
No, we can't go all home saying that it's just an illusion.
Yeah.
I know where you want to go with this, Jay.
Yeah, we can, because it's validated by experiment. I already went over this in 3 videos before this.
I know you, and I'm going to keep going over this with you. You want to say that the information is coming from another.
There is no information.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you segued into that, because I'm gonna show everyone that as well. So, as John says, there is no information, right? All right.
You can't have information between inanimate objects. It's friggin' an oxymoron.
All right. Define inanimate object then.
Inanimate objects that don't have consciousness, that aren't sentient.
So you're saying that the table your computer's sitting on doesn't have it.
That's right. It's not giving me a friggin' Western omelet recipe anytime soon.
Okay,
I've asked it before, but it still hasn't given me one.
All right. So let's go to the quantum. Let's go to a quantum conversation on that. So you're saying the desk that your computer's sitting on right now, I don't give a shit what it's made of. You're saying that over a period of time, whatever that time may be, if I had if I had the ability to accelerate the actual material decay of that structure your computer's sitting on right now, you're saying your computer would just stay in the air. It wouldn't just fall down to the ground.
No, I don't know where you're going. I said that it has no information.
Where I'm going with this is that everything, every object, everything that you can touch, you can see, you can feel, you can, determine the texture, is not inanimate. It may appear to be inanimate, but all that shit can be broken down to such a finite.
It can't reason. You have to be able to reason to have information. Your interpretation of the physical effects. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. Listen what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
We're talking about information. Your interpretation of the physical effects or consequences of the existence of inanimate objects is not information. It's your imagination. When I put my hand under running water, the water's not informing me that it's wet or that it's cold or hot. When a tree branch falls in the woods, the sound waves aren't telling me I've fallen and I can't get up. There is no information.
I think that's a wild definition of information.
I didn't give you the definition of information yet. I will give you one here in 1 second. You ready?
You describing it. And,
information, Merriam-Webster, the communication or reception of knowledge or intelligence. There's information. And let me just follow that up with Norbert Wiener, professor of mathematics, MIT, in the Technology Press from Paris, 1948. Information is information, neither matter nor energy. Case closed. End of story. See you next week.
Hey John, just a quick question. Jesse Brandenburger asked, "How can an illusion exist without information in the chat?"
How can illusion?
Yes.
How can you have an illusion without having the information that it is that you're experiencing what you believe or don't believe to be real or inanimate?
How can I have an illusion? ILLUS?
The question asked from Jesse on chat, Jesse Brandenburger, he asked, "How can an illusion exist without information?" That's just the question he asked.
How can an illusion? Well, it's an illusion.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go, Jesse. There you go, Jesse.
Yes,
a good example would be a hologram, wouldn't it? A hologram. Looking at a hologram, it contains information. You can physically see that information is imparted.
Let me say this again from the professor of mathematics at MIT. Information is information, neither matter nor energy. So where's information at?
Yeah, but when you break that matter down,
what's the problem?
Break physical matter down.
The problem is he defined it improperly. He
didn't define it properly, so you go ahead and define it for us properly. You're saying he's wrong, so go ahead and define it for us.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say he's wrong from MIT because I've actually spoken to a few PhDs at MIT.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care how many PhDs.
Oh, you don't care, but you read the information.
Let me show you.
No, but you're reading.
Show you. Let me share my screen.
Okay, hold on.
Let's get on with this.
If you got a desk, the desk is made of information, so then
it's not made of information. That's not information.
So you're saying if you break the desk down,
matter is not information.
But how did that matter get created? How did the matter get created? Go ahead, John. You should do it. Go to the green tab and do share screen. I just present you to everyone else.
I'll show you. Hold 1 second.
Because if you break that desk down to the quantum level, you're going to have a shitload of information, and either it's all going to be working together.
It's not information.
It's not information?
Nope.
Come on, bro.
he's trusting the definition from the mathematician, which is.
No, I'm not trusting the definition from the mathematician. I'm supporting it from his view.
Okay, there you go.
I already defined it for you once. Then I supported what I just told you with the professor from MIT.
Right, but you can't support it with that definition because it's ill-properly defined.
Well, how is it ill-properly defined?
Because the desk itself is information.
No, you can't just by fiat say it's information without defining it.
Or it's composed of materials that are specifically designed. So if you have any type of atom is formed by information. So
What information?
anything composed of atoms is formed by information.
That's where. Well, I need you to define information for me, though, because you're saying it's information without defining it.
It's information is a structure. It's a organized structure.
Okay.
There you go. And I agree with him. Because
no, it's not an organized structure. I'm
It
going
is
to show you
organized.
right now. Okay. Which one of these is information? I gave you two choices right here.
I can't see your screen.
It's not sharing?
Well, it should- he should
Anybody
be
else see
on
it?
the
Yes,
page.
it is showing. Yeah.
Right here.
I got to refresh.
So what I'm looking at here, and I know Devon's going to answer it. You've given two choices. Both choices are acceptable as information because
What's the information in one?
the information in the first choice, depending on what it could be applied to, could be cryptographic key.
You need, if there's
That-
information in here, yeah,
And
if
once
there's
it's deciphered-
information in here, that's going to get to my, oh, goodness gracious.
No, hold on, Jay.
Hold on.
Once it's deciphered, it could literally say the same thing that's being said in the second one.
Yeah, it is because you already seen it. Yeah, it is, but that's right. That's important because you need the cipher. And how do you get a cipher? You have to have an agreement. Listen to this. Codes. This is information from Grunwald, P, right here. Algorithmic information theory. We repeatedly consider the following scenario. A sender, say A, wants to communicate or transmit some information to a receiver, say B. The information to be transmitted is an element from some set X. It will be communicated by sending a binary string called a message. When B receives the message, he can decode it again and hopefully reconstruct the element of X that was sent. To achieve this, here's the punchline, folks. A and B need to agree on a code or a description before communicating, or they can't communicate. There's no information.
Communicate.
I think
communicate. Instructions are informed.
I'd say the instructions are already there because when you make a baby, you've got a sperm and an egg, and they pretty much communicate pretty well to form a baby.
The information.
You're comparing communication with information.
Okay, I want you to pull out. Okay,
language.
That's DNA. That's DNA. Hold on a second. I want you to show me
the building blocks of language and communication.
I want you to show me. 1 second. I want you to show me. I have it listed here. Please elucidate the information, the instructions, right, on DNA proper for aminoacyl tRNA synthetase and glycerolhaldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. I want you to elucidate the information on there. Show it to me.
I mean, you just explain bits
information is semiotic.
It's just like that illegible sentence that you have there. Each letter is a piece of information.
No, that's Shannon information. It gives no meaning or instruction. Nothing.
Oh, it's a different form of information.
No, Shannon information, they call it information, but it's really not information.
This is where I disagree.
It's called information, but it's not.
It's not information. It's Shannon information.
Scientific information.
See, they both contain the exact same
information. Is not information, people.
Meet me at okay. Let's try this. Let me do this for you. Information software is semiotic. It's not physical, material, or physically a part of its medium of conveyance. Letters, numbers, symbols are just prearranged conventions between the transmitter and the receiver for communication and to understand the message. Software is the meaning, the code, and the symbol.
We're not talking about language.
Represent the meaning. No, this is information.
Information builds languages and communication.
You see this? This is information. Cat. This is a code for what?
The letter
Listen,
A
right?
is information. The letter B is information.
The letters CAT aren't spelled out on its fur. It's assigned to it by intelligent agents.
No,
The message is the agreed upon. Let me give you another one.
Stand by here for a second, because
You're,
not
John,
standing
you're
by.
describing language, my man.
No, it's information.
No, John, here, I know where you're
Let me
going
give you
with
something.
this, okay? And something I'm very heavily immersed in is actually quantum cryptography and cryptanalysis. And I'm going to tell you here right now, I got good at cryptanalysis because had you just given me, go back to where you were before, the first example.
Which one?
Okay.
I'm trying to find
The
something.
big thing is that a Spanish-speaking person that does not speak English cannot communicate with an English-speaking person that does not.
That's
speak
right. There's no agreement on
and
the medium
therefore
and
there's no
convention.
information involved in
That's
their
right.
speaking.
That's right. For you, there isn't. You need a transmitter and a receiver, and you need to agree
But
upon
they're
the
both
meaning.
speaking information. They understand what they're saying themselves.
Yeah, but the one that you communicate doesn't. So it's not information.
You're,
No.
you're confused.
I disagree. You're not
Well, of course you can disagree,
You
but
agree
you
on this.
can't put
Each
anything else
symbol.
up with it.
Every lone and singular symbol, code, number, whatever it may be. I can tell you, just as much as I know about binary, the ones and zero you see in binary code, the one could represent literally 1 billion different other variables before you even decide how many ones and zeros or 110s or 001s or 11010s actually tell you how long the sentence is going to be. I know people who can look at binary and tell you exactly, without even deciphering it, they can tell you exactly, I know what that means.
All right, here we go. You ready? This is my last foray into this subject. Are you ready?
Science and genomics, John.
You ready?
Hold on, Jay. You studied genomics and DNA science. And
That's right.
Robert Shortman said it perfectly. When a sperm and an egg get together, they know they communicate with each other because they have their own code.
Where's the code? Where's the information at? Liberate it for me.
It's already embedded.
It's semiotic. It's not a part of it.
Oh, dude,
Then show it to me. I'm going to give you. This is like I said. This is my last. Maybe this will help you.
Go ahead.
Every double slit experiment, every delayed choice experiment, every quantum eraser experiment, every experiment that combines any of 1, 2, 3 above show exactly the same results. If the which path information is known or can be known, no interference. If the which path information is not known and can't be known, there's interference. The $64 million question is, how is the which path information known? Known by itself gives the game away. Detectors, whether they be slit detectors or photographic plates, never know anything. They can't reason. Knowing is a distinct attribute or characteristic of sentience and intelligence, intelligent agency, and especially which path knowledge or choice constraints. Choice takes reason, period. Physical detectors are merely inanimate surrogates that are designed by intelligent agents to detect what we inherently cannot. They only relay and elucidate data, the antecedent. Inherently, the which path is the consequent of reasoning, information. Data and information are not equals. Data A1, A1, A11, A from detector 1 and B2, B2, 2, 2B from detector 2 means what? You have no idea because we didn't agree beforehand on the convention, medium, and meaning of what these meant. It only becomes information, then knowledge, when we set up in advance, prearrange, the convention, medium, and meaning, then agree. This is only ever accomplished by intelligent agents, without exception. Here's my example. What would have happened if Paul Revere never met, that is, agreed upon the meeting, medium, and convention with the Patriots and sent signals, data, 1 light or 2 lights, from the Old Norse church? Not much, right? Save for we might be having tea and strumpets every day. Moreover, was it the lights, the medium, that coordinated the meeting? Information is semiotic. It's not a physical entity or part of a medium of conveyance. Photons from Paul Revere's lamps weren't physically carrying information. The lights were just the medium used to signal the intelligent agents, who then assigned the prearranged meaning the information. It is only then they know which path. Good night.
He's confused.
Okay.
I'm real confused.
No.
John and Robert.
That is talking about communication. That is talking about language, my man.
It's information.
John, you guys.
Language is also information.
Guys, Victoria Verderosa is asking a question on chat. She says, "Does information exist whether or not there is a receiver to understand or decode it?"
Yes. Yes.
I think it does. I think it does.
No.
Of course.
No.
I think it does.
Because you yourself is the receiver, the intelligent receiver.
The receiver doesn't exist, is what you just said.
No,
John,
I just told you. If I were to speak to someone that does not speak my language and I don't understand this language, I understand my language. So
yeah, but you don't understand the message.
That is any particle or anything.
You don't understand the message.
Yeah, but here's where
it's not information.
It understands itself and it has a code to do.
It understands itself
when it reacts with something else.
No, but what understands?
But you're talking about language.
What understands itself? No, I'm not talking. Well, language can mean a lot of things. There's language in DNA. Can you liberate some of that for me? Give me the instructions for amino acid and our synthetase.
Dude, something in our human bodies read the information, and the animal bodies and insect bodies and all that.
Programmed to read it.
So they comprehend. They comprehend the language. They comprehend DNA.
That's right.
Yeah. So the signaler itself understands itself.
Yeah, but you need a receiver, not just the transmitter.
Because the receiver doesn't know what is going on doesn't mean information is not being expressed.
Yeah, the information informs and instructs. That's what information is.
Hey, yeah, it's informing, and you're not smart enough.
Informing it, he can't decipher it. How can it be informed?
Right. You're not being enough
is this information right here?
The message.
Go ahead and decode.
Doesn't have anything to do with lack of information, my man.
Go ahead and decode. Yeah. Where's the information here?
Devon.
Yeah.
Hang on. I know where he's going. I know where he's going with this. John and I, we've had this discussion. Okay?
No, we haven't.
No, we had this
information. We haven't.
No, on information we had this discussion. You're saying that there ain't no information that could exist out there out on its own without a receiver, and that someone is actually giving us this information.
You can't have information without a transmitter and receiver, dude.
Okay, then who's the transmitter then, John?
The transmitter for what?
Say it. Who's the transmitter of information?
Transmitter for what information?
No, the transmitter of data and signal.
Data is not information.
Okay, so who's the transmitter of the data?
One at a time, please.
Who's the transmitter of the data? He's trying to separate data from information. So who's the transmitter of the data?
What data? What data?
Are you confused? Yes, you are. I've surmised
that.
Yeah,
I'm real confused. Why don't you add harmony?
Any data. Who transmits?
Any data. Okay, I got this data right here.
Yeah.
This is data.
Okay. So
okay, I just made that up. What's it mean? What's the meaning? What's the information here?
Whomever is transmitting the data comprehends the data. That is a receiver. He's receiving his own information.
I'm a transmitter. I'm transmitting this to you. What is the information in this as the receiver? You have no clue because I didn't let you know. I didn't let you know the cipher.
You know, see, John, you're going from a critical cognitive position.
What?
No, because understand this. What we're talking about is the speed transmission of information.
That's right.
There is no information to transmit unless there's a transmitter and a receiver.
That's correct.
So So correct me if I'm wrong. You're trying to tell us that there can't just be information out there for the taking if it wasn't intended for an end-all receiver.
Information.
Meaning that if I were to put information out, right now to send over to Aaron in Hawaii, and not tell Aaron, hey, I just sent you this information. You're telling me that when Aaron receives the information and he looks at it, he's gonna contact me back and says, Robert, what the fuck is this? But
where's the information in Paul Revere's lamps?
Well, if Paul Revere and the Patriots had never agreed or never even talked about what the signal would be for him to give the Patriots that the British were coming, and he just put out the light, the Patriots would have saw the light and says, wait a minute, something is happening. We see a light.
Yeah, right. You see a light out in the distance and you say, wow, that means something.
That's communication.
It could be make me a chocolate cake or make me...
It does mean something.
Preposterous.
Not being able to decipher the information is not a lack of information.
How would the Patriots even know to look?
You're confused.
No.
We can use your example of DNA.
DNA I just showed you. How am I confused?
So elucidate DNA for us. And
elucidate, you want me to elucidate DNA in what way?
No. If you listen longer than you speak, you can hear this clear.
Well, speak to me to something coherent rather than ad hominem.
I'm talking about your example of DNA.
Okay, go ahead.
You said DNA was a language, so please elucidate DNA for us.
It's a code.
And then I told you
elucidate DNA for you.
Code for what?
You see how you're talking more than you're listening?
DNA has two types of digital information. The codes that encode proteins.
Something in each body reads that information. And
yeah, because it's set up that way.
They have what you are dealing with, which is communication. Communication
is set up that way.
But if you cannot communicate the language, if you cannot read the language, it does not mean information is not there.
The ribosome and tRNA are pre-programmed to recognize the language.
Okay, well, let me ask you.
It's just like a computer program. The software in your computer. Is there a human being inside your computer?
Let me ask this.
Somebody program it.
Let me ask what you just used. You just put up on the screen, quoting Hood, L, and Galas, the digital code of DNA.
That's correct.
Now, you also said that information is neither matter nor any kind of energy. It's not.
That's right. It's semiotic. That's correct.
It's semiotic. So when you look at what you just put up on the screen, that DNA has two types of digital information. How can DNA, which is supposed to be organic, all right, be described as some sort of inanimate form in digital form? Because digital information is nothing numbers, dude.
It's software. It's software. Software. See this? Software.
Yeah, you can't put the two terms together. You can't say, well, DNA is software, and then use the term, say that DNA is two types of digital information.
It's digital information. Let's read this. DNA is not a special life-giving molecule, but a genetic data bank that transmits its information using a mathematical code. Most of the workings of the cell are best described not in terms of material stuff, hardware, but as information, software. That means if I could take two floppy disks back in the day, and I have one empty floppy disk, and I load the other one up, would you listen for a second? If I load the other, I have two floppy disks, one empty, one I load with a ton of software, and I weighed these two, right? Which one would weigh more?
Oh, that's a moot argument, man.
Because information software is not physical. It's not matter or energy.
Listen, John, listen. You and I both been involved in the medical field, and I'm going to tell you something here right now. To this very day, they're trying to fucking figure out how the fuck DNA is actually communicating.
He's trying to link information with language, man.
This is something I'm learning.
Information is a language.
Oh my
Hey guys,
God.
Man, it informs and
You meant to say
instructs.
language is information, but information
The
itself
communication
that
of
builds
knowledge
language.
or intelligence. There it is,
John,
right there's the definition.
John, Nexus Ninja wants to know: does the transmitter know the information? Nexus
Does the
Ninja
transmitter know it? I would
Yes.
suppose so, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said earlier.
But there's no information. He's not doing anything with it. It's in his own mind.
But he still understands.
Information informs. What are you, informing yourself?
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, that's basically how it goes. That's how it happens when people actually.
You can laugh all you want and add hominem until the cows come home.
With you communicating with us, you are communicating with yourself.
I'm an intelligent agent, yes.
Yeah, so you are informing yourself. We just understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm informing myself, all right.
Oh, shit. All right,
Hey,
listen,
John, I love you, brother, man. I love you, man.
let's do this. I wanna read the
confused people too.
You don't know. You have to figure out what information is, and you're using it. What you're doing is you're
trying to make it only language, though.
It is a
readable language.
It is a language. If I put there's a tiger behind you, if I put there's a tiger behind, oh jeez.
Information builds languages that we can read. A line, a simple dot is information.
It's not. What's it communicating to you?
you trust.
What's the dot communicating to you? A period? End of sentence?
The definition of the mathematician.
Okay, well, this is what I want to do next, all right? Because we got other people on this panel, and I want them to go over the information. I want them to express their interpretation of what's already been discussed and the documents that we all shared with each other before we did this hangout.
Oh, by the way, this top one right here has the same information as this one. The only difference is they both contain the exact same information. Meet me at Joe's for drinks. What's the difference? Well, we didn't agree on the cipher, the medium, the convention, and the meaning of number one beforehand. The cipher's every fourth letter. It'll give
you but get this, John. Get this. Like I just said, I don't know how much more I know than Robert Shortman or you or Vivian, okay, or Luke or Aaron or Deval. But I've been involved in cryptanalysis since I was a fucking kid. And I can tell you here right now, had you not provided number 2 and told us that number 1 will be deciphered as meet me at Joe's for drinks, give me enough fucking time, I would have deciphered that.
No,
you didn't have to tell me what it was. I would have been able to tell you.
You wouldn't.
It could have took me weeks. It could have took me months. It could have took me years. But
well, I gave you the benefit of the doubt and put it in English. I gave you the benefit of the doubt and put it in English.
No, John.
I could have just made up symbols.
No, John. Well, yeah, you're right. You could have made up symbols, and eventually, had you not told me what it was,
this was a cakewalk for you.
No, John, will you fucking hold on, bro? Come on, dude. We all know that you know where you at on this level, man. This is not about right or wrong. This is about trying to literally
everything's about right and wrong.
Not to be on a pun, but decipher what it is we're trying to explain here. And had you not told anybody what it was you put on the screen without putting it in English and deciphering it for us, eventually one of us would have figured out this doesn't fucking mean anything, or this means I can tell you what this means. It means meet me at Joe's for drinks.
Yeah, sure.
That's how cryptography works. That's how cryptanalysis works. That's how crypto works.
Well, next time, like I said,
on the chat, everybody's asking this one general question, which is pretty simple, but they're asking, where is this going? I guess everybody's asking.
No, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to get to that point because we didn't go off.
Where is this going? This is the whole caboodle, brother. This is information. Information is.
The speed of information.
Information is the ontological primitive. In other words, it is what is
it's a readable language. That's what he's meaning to say.
I'm going to keep
responsible for everything.
He's defining information as a readable language.
All the sciences now, physics, chemistry, biochemistry, genetics, are all information sciences. Every single one of them.
Okay, well, let's go here. John, you're not always fucking right, dude. I love you like a brother.
Yeah, I mostly am.
This shit just gets out of
Yeah, I
hand.
mostly am. And you know why? Because I've done my homework. That's why.
Well, guess what? I do my fucking homework too. And when it comes to cryptography, I'll fucking
care about your cryptography. What is
you did so much homework that you
confused yourself. Because what you're talking about is cryptic.
You're confused.
Oh, okay. I'm confused. Yeah.
No, your brother over there. You keep on saying I'm confused. How am I confused? Why don't you show me?
Because you're trying to make information only a readable language when
information it is a language. Jeez, oh man.
Go to somebody down the street who can read it.
All right, so here we go. Rob Shortman.
See that?
I need Rob Shortman talking. Everybody else fucking mute, please. Rob, go for it, please.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my kind of interpretation of physical thing is, I mean, you can get this change and it doesn't necessarily make this correct, you know, and quantum theory and relativity theoretical problems of the first magnitude. No quantum version of general relativity exists, and the purpose of one are murky. So I mean, to say that information doesn't exist in different forms, that would be quite hard to necessarily test. And just by doing that, I think there's information in different forms, especially when you're looking at sacred geometry and the way natural things appear in life without any information that's current. I mean, with the way shapes grow on the earth and structures of everything.
And I think
with quantum tunneling and also the quantum side of it, there's massive amounts of manipulation that they can do just by changing the protons and electrons and the particular directions that they're shaping. I mean, what they can do is they can actually physically change the direction of these protons to form information and then send that information via their method that they use. They've got special optical sensors and lasers that they use to project this information out, and that's how they're doing it now. They're using this in CERN and other facilities that are pushing these particle boundaries and actually discovering stuff by doing it that way. So there's no information for the supposed God particle, but when they discover these things, they're pushing boundaries by actually working on theories that don't necessarily make sense with what we know from what Einstein says and Rodenberg and all these scientific professors. They're all got certain ideas and gone down different routes, different from each other, but there's still lots out there that we don't know, especially with the way information could be formed or interpreted, I think.
Yeah, and that goes back to a video we showed where they had some substance. I think it was sugar or salt they poured on the table, and they turned on some sort of test and measurement device and started transmitting a particular frequency signature, and the substance on the table started uniformly taking shape.
I've got a thing I'll give it to you at the end if you want to put it, but it's called semantics, and it's the study of wave phenomena and vibration, a complete complementation of the original 2 volumes, and on this is that there's 135 colored and black and white documents of all the vibration and sound frequencies that it was forming to do all these different things with liquid, with iron and metal, and these are all forming extremely different shapes, different frequencies. So just in that thing, then that would be saying sound wouldn't be any form of information if it's causing these things to do physical shapes. And similar with possibly the way babies are formed and the way information from your mother and your father is transmitted into that baby, and the baby is intelligent. It doesn't just get that intelligent, it doesn't just have it. It already has obtained that through
learning.
The methods of learning, the methods of coding from DNA, and then I think there's a lot of other methods that we don't necessarily know, and that's the special side.
If we all adopt that idea that information is only readable language, we wouldn't know anything. we wouldn't know about sonoluminescence. We won't know about anything at all. You have to
It's not just a
figure out.
readable
You have to
language. It's
figure out the
software.
information that's
It's
already.
not just a readable language. It's software.
Yeah.
Hold on. Why do I get cut off when I start speaking? I don't understand.
No, you shouldn't have been. You didn't get cut off. You're still your mic. I want to show this this document. This is from the APS Physics, okay, American Physics Society, and they talk about physics of superluminal communication. I'm not even going to address this Estacado relativistic omega factor, all right? But when you look at this, this is the research. This actually was named after the researcher, to be just to let everyone know. Everyone can see this. This researcher, he's from the Northwestern University. He says superluminal communication is a process by which one might send information at faster than light. He says that he tried to develop this idea in detail and with mathematical rigor. The velocity of the particle information is represented by the group velocity, Vg. If Vg is greater than or equal to the speed of light, then the angle equals, and you've got all this math, equals minus information omega, that which means the Lorentz factor is an imaginary number. Imaginary.
Yeah, I saw it.
That goes into what John was saying when he says it's an illusion.
Right.
Okay.
And I've solved the imaginary numbers, by the way, and notice how it calls a particle information. So an imaginary number is an absolute negative of the square root of the number represented.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows that information.
So
or language or readable communication that I just.
I might have put this in there for everyone.
Hey Robert, just real quick, Mike T. Pyle from chat is asking a question to anybody on the panel. Does positive and negative charges on a floppy disk, which represents ones and zeros, have any weight?
Yeah, I actually read his comment. He wants to know it.
Which would make it heavier than a floppy disk. And
yeah, he wanted to know if
it's like a two-part question. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't think so. I think whenever you do something like that, it kind of makes it lighter. It's like carving out something on a stone or wood or something. So it makes it lighter.
You know, that's definitely something that I'm going to test. I'm going to test that. I'm actually going to test it.
It's so difficult to find out the weight of an electron that, you know.
I'm going to test to see if I can get one empty disk and then put information. I'm going to download maybe, what, a terabyte of data on another one, and I'm going to see if they still weigh the same. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Because John says it's inanimate. So if both weigh the same, one has information and one doesn't, then John's right. But if the one with information with 1 terabyte of data on it weighs more, then John's wrong.
How many decimal places does your scale go to?
I'm going to have to literally look for a scale that will be able to do that shit, bro.
We're going to need a real scale on that one.
It should be pretty easy. It should be. I can just probably get just a standard scale from one of the stores here and buy 2 discs, identical, put information on 1 terabyte, and then we'll put anything on the other, weigh both of them, and then put information on 1, weigh them again, and if they both weigh the same, John's right. If they don't, John's wrong. That means that information is not inanimate. It's got a life. It's doing something.
Robert, can I quickly?
I mean, I can call it inanimate. I don't have a problem calling it inanimate.
No,
I just have a problem saying that it must be legible. It must be able. You must be able to read it.
No, I mean I could just put anything on there. The point is just putting any amount of data on there. It doesn't matter what it is. It could just be
information. It doesn't have to be a language. I can send you smoke signals. It could be symbols. It's semiotic. But we have to agree on it beforehand, what it means.
I
Like
don't.
polar bears, photons.
The thing
Right.
is, the thing,
That meaning of reading symbols is a language.
Yeah, that's right. It's still a language. That's right.
uh,
When it gets down to it, yeah. Information
Go ahead,
is
David.
language.
yeah,
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about physical information, and I
Physical
do,
information is oxymoron.
well, hang on, because
An
the thing is,
oxymoron.
to be able, not either you're talking about bits from a computer language, or you're talking about communication between sound wave or light or particles. This is all physics-based, meaning that in order to, for any element or any body, if it's a physical, if it's a human being, to read this, you need time. You need time to read, because if it's a computer, you're going to need a time-based clock in order to read the pulse of the signal. If it's a human, you're going to need sound waves, and that's frequency-based. But the thing is, when you start going down the level of atoms, and then at the Planck scale, and then past the string theories, then you get into quantum, and then time does not have any effect. So that's why the only way you could possibly have information traveling fast at the speed of light, it's because you basically are in a non-physical form, and that's the information, I think, that's what gets everybody confused, is what defines matters and what defines how matters travels or moves or are reading by a bio human being or a computer. But if information is matter-based, then yes, you're going to fill two hard drives, and you're going to see in theory, one will be heavier. It would. Even if the disks are silicium, and you're making a physical impact on a silicium disk. So you will read the difference, but this is physical information. So it's either it's the atomic size, it still is physical information, but you can only read it because of time. The information can be stored on a disk, and it's always there, but you cannot read it unless you start spinning disk and syncing with a clock. Then you can read it, and that's the communication bias that John was talking about. You have to be agree on certain frequency and to be able to interpret the information. But all of this is physical information. It does exist either at the atomic scale, in the wave form, in the particle form, but it's all matter-based. And I think if time is directly correlated to light, then you cannot go faster than that. If you want to communicate faster than the speed of light, you have to go in a non-physical based information, and that's where you get into quantum, and that's how quantum computers are based on and how they work. It's basically the communication instantaneous. There is no time between those, and that's really hard to comprehend if you don't have a little bit of knowledge about string theories and quantum levels and how time is not defined, then does not affect matter, then it's hard to comprehend. But I think we're going to get there, Robert, to the quantum level and how we can bypass.
And that's why I want to.
When you talk speed, anything that has to do with speed of anything is directly correlated. It's basically synced to time. It's time-based.
Well, yeah, and that's what I want to address in this document right here from NASA, because they're claiming they have, with their deep space network of radio telescopes, that they can detect signals that are billions of miles, light years, hundreds of millions of light years away. And they're saying that by the time the signal reaches Earth, it's really weak. Okay? They say the signal from the spacecraft is very weak by the time it reaches Earth, since its energy has spread over a wider and wider area as it travels outward from the transmitter. In fact, the Earth-based antenna operated by the Deep Space Network must be able to detect a signal as weak as a millionth of a trillionth of a watt. If you stored energy transmitted at that rate for 40,000 years, you could still light a Christmas tree bulb for about 3 millionths of a second. Now, I agree with you that the speed in which data is being transmitted, they're claiming from space, is not traveling at the speed of light. It's not. It can't be traveling at the speed of light, because eventually, you're looking at 4.6 billion kilometers from Earth, 3 billion miles, 186,000 miles a second. By the time that signal, if it's coming from Pluto, New Horizons spacecraft at Pluto, I mean, by the time it reaches Earth, you've got nothing but gobbledygook. It's an incoherent fucking data, information. I don't give a shit.
Why,
I don't care.
That's why
telescope
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, what kind of radio signal?
Those are the flows of the, those are part of the big flows. It doesn't, if information is limited by the fastest atom we know what moves is light. So if it's limited by that speed, then there's no way.
Exactly.
And everything else is slower. So.
And they tell you right here that the New Horizons reduces downlink rate from transmitting data to about 1,000 bits per second. They said at 1,000 bits per second, it will take about 4 hours to download a picture of Pluto. Why would you? They're not reducing. See, when they say that they will force, they said a final complication, the faintness of the signal in the presence of the background electromagnetic noise, will force New Horizons to reduce its downlink rate for transmitting data to about 1,000 bits per second. Now, I know a shitload about signal intelligence.
Heck.
Because that's what the fuck I do here. And the reason why they've programmed this, whatever the fuck this is, to reduce its downlink rate is because that information, that data, is moving faster than the speed of light. And you and I both know, Vivian, you can't transmit something faster than the speed of light and expect it to go through a fucking fiber optic cable that can only handle 20 gigabits a second.
Yeah, because it goes out of sync, and you have to resync it every now and then. It doesn't matter the medium, but the medium in which information travel, or in that case, if it's information wave if it's a frequency, or if it's a radio, anything like that. It doesn't have to,
if they didn't slow down that signal, if they didn't have a way to slow down that signal, literally whatever was going to be receiving it would literally explode. It would create a bottleneck, and literally you would jam up the communication line, and you would get nothing. It would just lock it up. You would get nothing coming through at all. There would be nothing coming through. Nothing. So nothing's traveling at the speed of light. Everything's traveling much faster than the speed of light. And we don't have the technology to transmit anything. I mean, that one document that I read where it says that we can't create that same capability on Earth. We can't transmit something faster than the speed of light on Earth.
Physical based, if it's physical, then no.
Yeah, physical days. I mean, it would literally. I mean, just
because it's just like a computer is limited by the basically. It's going to be limited by the frequency in which it can read data and process that. Your processor, we're talking gigahertz, so we're talking billions of information per second, and but you're going to be very limited because physically the transmitter inside the microprocessor are going to be physically limited because it's a physical based information. That's why we say, the capacity of computers double every year and the memory and everything, but you're going to reach a limit very, very soon, actually, where we don't have we cannot build microprocessors. So we do quad core, so we have it working in parallel, so they can treat more information, but the speed in which they can read and interpret the information is always going to be physically limited by how fast a transistor can be stable and move and read information. But that's why it's made out of gold also, because gold has conductivity properties. And anyway, but that's why quantum computers. I mean, I don't think they have it. We're still testing, but Google has it.
They got quantum processors. The whole computer is just a regular high-performance supercomputer, but the processor is literally it's like having 1,000 of the most high-end Xeon CPUs, but they all put into one single processor.
Well,
that's all.
They're not communicating in a physical manner. It's a non-physical thing. But that's when you go into quantum theory, it's basically quantum communication, and we touched on it last time. It's basically if you do split an atom, you split two atoms of light, two photons, then there's a link between them, and it's a non-physical link. If one is vibrating at a certain frequency, the other one does, and distance does not. That's what I've read about quantum communication, and that's how then a computer would be based. It doesn't need to have a physical input of some electronic signal to read. It would vibrate at a certain frequency in one place and instantaneously vibrate in another place. You don't need to have any physical linkage between those two. It's a non-physical. But that's, I don't know. I don't think we're going to get into it. I don't have anything ready for it.
No, I mean, these are going to be ongoing. These are going to be ongoing conversations.
Oh yeah,
Robert, on chat, there's two really good. I don't know if they're questions, rhetorical questions, or statements, but Whistler Harris and Orphan Red have two questions. Whistler's asking, it looks like a rhetorical question, but information equals software. Software requires a programmer. Seems like the possibility of a creator is the issue.
That's it. That's where John.
Here we go.
And then Orphan Red asks. Orphan Red asks. It's basically a statement too. Any observed reality manifested as information, because it is a collapse of the superposition state of probability into observed actuality. The probability becomes actualized information between the two camps. So those are the two questions that we're waiting to be answered.
Yeah, and what do you need to collapse the wave function then? How do you know the which path information? A knower. Thank you very much.
No. Wait, you're answering Orphan Red, right?
That's right. To collapse the wave function, you need to know the which path information. How do you know things? You have to be sentient and intelligent, right?
Sure.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
I love you, John.
Love you, John.
We know you were going down that path with regard to.
It's not a path. It all leads to the same thing.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. All physical laws, all quantum mechanical laws, all genetics, all biochemistry boils down to information. Period. End of story. Now, you either deal with that, or go hang out with the people that think that ink, paper, and glue molecules can author technical instruction manuals. Have a nice day.
So here's where I want to go with this, because this hangout is about superluminal signal transmission and basically busting the speed of light. Nothing is traveling at the speed of light. Everything's traveling much faster. Human beings possess the inherent capability to transmit information faster than the speed of light. So if you've ever had some sort of sixth sense or intuitive, feeling that, someone's getting ready to call you, or, you can feel what someone else is feeling, or maybe think or finish a sentence, or know exactly what they're getting ready to say, something's going on there using electromagnetic wave propagation. All right? And it's moving really fast. So fast you can't even comprehend it. But I can tell you this here right now. People can suffer with what they call information overload, where it is you're getting so much information coming in. And, dude, they've had video gamers, young guys, kids, in their teens, man, in their early 20s. They sit up all night long, 2-3 day stretches, man, playing video games, and they just drop fucking dead. Now they're not dropping dead because they didn't get any rest, or they weren't eating, or they weren't, you know, taking care of themselves. They're looking at this computer screen and they're taking in everything that's going on that screen. I mean, they're moving their fingers really fast. They're trying to learn how the game is operating, how to beat the game, and they're getting all this in their head. They're getting all this information coming in rapidly, really fast, depending on how fast the computer is. I mean, today's gaming laptops and desktops, dude, they're supercomputers, man. And when you have someone sitting in front of a 17-inch or a 32-inch or a 42-inch screen, taking in this information for days on end, 2-3 days, and they just drop dead, I mean, it's what Vivin talked about. You have data and information traveling faster than the speed of light through a computer, and you're getting all these visual effects going on. Your brain is literally a fucking solid state drive. If you can only take in a terabyte, maybe a petabyte of information, and you get overloaded, the brain follows the body, or the body follows the brain. If the brain says, shit, we got too much information, boom, we're shutting down. It doesn't know what to do with it because it's not being processed. Like John said, you got to already have the instruction. Hey, this is what I'm giving you this for. So if I use that example with regard to computer games, just look online, people, just Google it. Look at how many teenagers and people in their 20s drop fucking dead from playing games 2-3 hours. They're drinking the Red Bulls, they're eating all the time, they're sitting at the computer, so it's not that they're malnourished, it's not because they're unhealthy. They overloaded the damn storage disk, which is their brain, their body, all of their neurons, their cells, just literally shorted out. Nothing is traveling at the speed of light. The speed of light is fucking like going 70 miles an hour on the fucking freeway in the United States. That's the fucking speed limit. If you know your car can only go fucking 160 miles an hour, you try to take it to that point, you'll get there. But I guarantee you won't stay there for fucking very long.
That's so true.
Okay?
So true.
You'll get to fucking 160 miles an hour, but either your ass gonna get fucking stopped and pulled over, you're either gonna fucking crash, or the engine is just gonna fucking shut down on your ass. Because there's so much going on at the same time to where literally, if it's a new car, the computer's going to short out because it just took in too much information. It just dies on you. Or you just lose control. Nothing, this is what this conversation is about. Nothing is traveling at the speed of light. It's faster. And we have the capability. Human beings have the capability to transmit things at the speed of light. I learned when my wife was 4 weeks pregnant. My research involved detecting a specific neuroscience signature, a biophysics quantum signature. And I'm the only one who found out what this signature looks like. When my wife was 4 weeks pregnant, we got an echograph done, okay? My son was probably smaller than a fucking pea, all right? I didn't even know he was maybe a boy. He would be a boy or a girl. But when the doctor turned up the audio and I heard that, what all our fathers have heard when they, first know that your wives or girlfriend, whatever, are pregnant, that wasn't his heart. That was his sinoatrial node. And I had been studying neurocardiac science for over 20 years. It started when I was in the Navy, working as an anesthesia tech at the National Naval Medical Center in Bethesda. And I watched open heart surgeries. I was always fascinated. How the fuck are you doing this? How is it that you just flick your finger and the heart just starts like that? The sinoatrial node is the pacemaker of the heart. It fires so fast that there is not a single piece of test and measurement equipment on Earth that exists that could detect that signature. Not a single fucking piece of technology on Earth. Nothing CERN has or any MIT, nobody can detect that signature. The only signature they can detect is the overall electrocardiographic electrical activity that the heart generates. The heart generates a much stronger electromagnetic field than the brain does. The brain is your solid state drive, your hard disk drive, where it brings in all the information. Your heart is emitting the electromagnetic field. which is supposed to be processing that data. That's why they call it the second brain, because it's actually processing the data. You either feel good, bad, indifferent, or fucked up over what's the information that you just received. You can't be just fucking neutral. Oh, I don't feel nothing. That's a bunch of bullshit. Everything's traveling faster than the speed of light. When it comes to light, when it comes to data, information, whatever the fuck you want to call it, we're still trying to figure out where the fuck it's coming from. But it's out there. And it's out there for the taking. We may not know who it's meant for and what it's for and how to use it, but there's a lot of advanced shit being created in history and in current time that we're trying to wonder where the fuck did this come from. People saying, oh, it came from aliens. It came from, somebody, smoking fucking weed and shit like that, or taking LSD, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But somehow it heightens your capability to literally receive massive. I know people who took fucking mescaline, dude. And what's that other fucking drug? I forgot what the other drug's called. Where people say they get their senses get all heightened and shit. They taking it all in. I don't know if everybody ever saw that movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. All right, and they talked about that hormonal substance that's created when a mother gets pregnant. She secretes this for a brief moment, and it allows the baby's bones to be formed. But it doesn't stay in the body long. It's just for that brief moment. But as she took in this artificial drug, it got into her system, and she just basically needed more of it, and she wanted to become completely aware. And then eventually she became everything. She received so much information. She learned so fast. And it got to the point to where she overloaded herself, and she became everything. She just quantized. To our physical senses, she just disappeared, but she was still really there. Okay? That goes back to what I said in the beginning when I was reading that one article. If I'm standing in front of Vivian right now, and I say, Vivian, I'm going to go to the store, I'll be back. He's going to ask me, okay, what time are you going to be back? And I look at him and be like, well, I already went and came. And he'll look at me and say, well, dude, you lost your damn mind. What do you mean you already went there and came? Yeah, I already got what I need. Oh, you mean it was already here? No, I already went there and came back. So did I really leave? That's where the illusion comes in. But I want to show this little example here. It's called lightyear.fm. They talk about the broadcast here. It's online. You guys will see in the description section. I want to just play this for you guys because I thought it was funny, that someone came up with this software to show how fast and how far sound and signals travel based on, if they're going through space. I mean, do I think there's outer space? I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, there's only inner space, 110 kilometers and below. I don't know what the fuck is beyond that. So I'm not believing what NASA's telling me. But according to Lightyear FM, a journey through space, time, and music, radio broadcasts leave Earth at the speed of light. And I'm showing this as part of the presentation to show you guys there ain't no fucking way something from 100 years ago in 1916 is actually traveling at the speed of light at the distance they claim it's traveling at. And I'm going to play this for you guys right now so you can see it. Check it out. Just look at the screen here, and then look up here. This is light years. Look at this here. This is how many light years.
Hey, Robert, you're not sharing the screen.
I'm not sharing?
No.
Oh, shit. Hang on. Stand by. I'm glad somebody told me as I was going through. I told you guys to watch the fucking goddamn watch page. Damn.
That's why I just told you.
Damn, dude.
And when you get a chance, you go ahead and give Orphan Red the link let him come on in here. Me and him need to get the cases.
I don't have her email, dude.
Well,
I'll send it to her email.
Whoever that is, you get her on here or him on here.
I don't have her email, bro. And I ain't putting that shit out there in chat because there's a bunch of stupid motherfuckers out there who do some stupid shit, and then I gotta get fucking posted.
If you'd like to join Orphan, just let us know in text chat, and they said that we can invite you in. Okay. So
get her to email you, Aaron, and you send her the link.
Sure. Orphan, go ahead and email me on Facebook, and I'll send the link to you. Okay, sweetie? And Orphan is a girl, and she's a flat earther. She's real smart.
Yeah, I know.
She has a lot of educated opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, I know who she is. So
hey,
here we
by
go.
the way, John. Hey, John, I want to say something real quick. I love you, brother, man. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, man.
We all love this dude, man.
I know, John. You're fantastic. When you scream, I listen.
I love him too.
I shouldn't have got frustrated. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, bro.
Okay, here we go.
It's all good.
Here we go. Let's do this again. I want you to pay attention to the light years on here on the side and right down here.
In the club with the lights off, but you acting shy for. Come and show me that you're with it.
Now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep cuts, and
don't care where you are, just wanna be there where you are. Like you one little change. Sugar, your eyes for me, no more. We both know we can't go.
Robert, can you turn down the volume?
What'd you say?
Could you turn down the volume for the video?
Turn up the volume.
So somebody's playing music.
Give me all you got, no holding back.
Damn, dude. Fucking Jesus.
you were ready to die. Make me your one and only. Make me your enemy.
Okay, now he was close. Tried to domesticate you, but you're an animal. Baby, it's in you.
It's confusing, cause all I wanted to do is be the Bruce Lee, a Bruce Lee, a Bruce Lee. Use it as a tool when I Bruce Lee. With a lot of it, Bruce Lee, but with what I gave up to keep.
So I'm gonna jump to 50 light years. Hundred light years. Okay, you all get the fucking picture. I'm not gonna play that whole thing. So the purpose of showing that was to show you guys that even going back to I went back 50 light years. You saw the song I was playing. I don't know what the age is of everybody in the chat or in the group. I know some of the other people. But when you look at the distances, the time, let's just go with what Vivian was saying. Vivian was talking about time. You go back to 1960s. You go back to 1916, and you see the music that was being played. They're saying if you'd have launched a probe from the Earth in 1916, right, to play that Chinatown, 100 years, you'd be 100 light years from Earth. Now, what does that equivalent to? That's 186,000. That's c squared, right? We're talking about light years. Years. Okay? You take the speed of light times that 100, and that's how fucking far you would be from the Earth. Now, I want everyone to ask themselves, you honestly fucking believe that if you lived in 1916, that song would be that fucking far away from the Earth? I don't fucking think so.
No, not that distance.
No, not traveling at 186,000 miles a second. It's not at that distance. What was playing in 1916 is not 186,000 miles times 186,000 miles times 100 distance away from the Earth. Period. It's not that far. Signals are actually traveling faster than the speed of light, and they're at quite a distance. But when we talk about the other show that we did when we talked about the distance of the moon, right? How far the moon was, and how strong the laser needed to be, and they were measuring the distance of the moon based on time, 2.5 seconds round trip, right? So it took 1.25 seconds for the beam to get to the moon at 258,000 miles, which they're claiming, and then come back 1.25 seconds and not suffer any drag, any ether drag. That's what Aquaquaria is saying. Now, when you talk about signal propagation, especially going up in the atmosphere, and you got to go through 4 or 5 atmospheres, and they're saying that they're bouncing signals off the fucking ionosphere and off the fucking moon. That's a bunch of bullshit. The moon ain't 258,000 miles, and they ain't detecting fucking signals in deep space. I just saw on CNN, and NASA says that they detected some fucking really strong signal that was how many light years away from the Earth? Then they say it was like 140 light.
They have to say those things to get people's imagination going and think.
Yeah, I mean exactly.
They have. It's just a confirmation.
Yeah, they want us to think that shit is that far away out from us. No, it's not.
No, of course not.
Those laser beams are not traveling 258,000 miles, hitting some suitcase-sized target on the moon and coming back in 2.5 seconds. And the same thing goes for radio signals. The same goes for radio signals. It's not taking. You don't have a 2.5 second delay. If I picked up my phone right now and called Aaron in Hawaii, and the phone rings, yeah, there's going to be a delay because he's not going to hear every ring. If the phone rings 3 times on my side, but rings twice on his side, yeah, there's a delay in the transmission of the switch being triggered for him to get that ring. But as soon as he picks up the phone, if we're on video, he's seeing my mouth moving at the same time I'm speaking. That's what we call real time. But is that signal traveling at the speed of light? Fuck no, it's not. It's traveling way faster than the speed of light.
It's instant.
It's instantaneous. What we believe to be instantaneous, which is faster than the speed of light. But you have all these scientists who are writing these papers that we all looked at. There was a half a dozen papers talking about superluminal signal transmission and relativity and electromagnetic wave propagation. Human beings are transmitting signals faster than the speed of light. You can't feel it, you can't see it. Period. Period. But it's happening. There's no fucking math for it either. Because I just read the document where they said they created an imaginary fucking number, mathematical code, which means it doesn't exist. You can't measure that shit. It is so deep on the quantum level. That's why they call it quantum communications. That's why they call it quantum biophysics. Something is happening in our human bodies. You won't be able to figure that shit out on a DNA level. Because there's no technology, there's no instrumentation to actually observe that shit like you can with the double slit experiment or the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment. You can't see that shit. You can only simulate it.
You had phones on.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. T squared is bullshit. The speed of light is bullshit. If anybody is using anything talking about light and optics, okay, light might be moving at 186,000 miles a second in a controlled experimental environment where you're in an enclosed situation. But when it comes to the rest of looking out and going outside and looking at the Earth, nobody knows fucking. I mean, I heard somebody talking the other day. They said that they just collectively wanted to agree that the fucking sun is 3,000 miles away. For one, you can't even see the fucking. How do you? No one's ever shot a fucking laser at the sun. You can only see what the light that the sun is actually transmitting. You really don't know how far it is. We have all agreed that it's not 93 million miles because it'd have to be fucking massive as a motherfucker. And of course, yeah, they all claiming that the sun is massive as hell, and it's generating all this light, which is we're interpreting as heat. But those photons, stick with John on that. I say it's waves that are being created from the light are moving way faster than fucking 186,000 miles a second. Neutrinos are moving right through our bodies right now as we're all talking, even if it's nighttime. Neutrinos came from out where the sun was through the atmospheres. They don't fucking slow down at all, and they're literally, boom, piercing through your fucking body as we speak right now. Into the ground, going somewhere. We don't know where the fuck they're going. Some of them get trapped, the rest of them just keep going. But they're traveling faster than the speed of light. We just don't know what it is. So I'm never going to talk about Einstein again. I'm never going to reference that motherfucker, man. I'm never going to reference his ass. Because his entire equation is based on bullshit. Like John says, pseudo fucking science.
Yep.
E equals mc squared don't mean shit. There ain't no fucking energy equaling mass times the speed of light. John said that in the beginning, that there is no energy, there is no fucking matter, which means therefore there is no fucking speed of light. Period. Eric Dollard even said, light ain't traveling. Light is not traveling in free space. The sun is not in fucking free space. You would not be able to see the sun in fucking free space. No one knows what fucking free space is. No one can be in a complete fucking vacuum. NASA trains in a fucking aqua tank, and they got the largest man-rated vacuum chamber on the planet, but they won't fucking put people in there. They won't put people inside the largest vacuum chamber in the world. It's man-rated. Man-rated means you can put people in there. So if you can create a vacuum chamber to put people inside, what the fuck are you doing training in a fucking swimming pool for? Training in the fucking environment you're supposed to go into. Oh, wait a minute. You are training in the environment you're going to go into. Fucking water. Some sort of fluid environment. That's why NASA's hard up on fucking fluid dynamics. Hard up on that shit. They need to know what's happening. That's why when I had that conversation with the Hubble Space Telescope deputy program manager, what did he say when I mentioned fucking superfluid helium? He says, he goes, interesting. What kind of densities are we talking about? This is a guy who's been sitting at the desk for 25 fucking years. And I just threw that shit out there just to see what he'd say, and boom. We're probably sitting around thinking about this shit right now. And I'm still trying to figure out where could superfluid helium exist. Vivian and I are even talking about it. Where could it actually exist? It literally could be at the same altitude level where the moon is. Because when there's a full moon, it's cold as fuck outside. It's cold. So the moon ain't giving off any heat. I know people have done those laser tests and shit, and they said that, there's some heat in the shade, and the moon's light. That's a bunch of bullshit. I've been out. John and I have been out on patrols at nighttime on full moons. Okay? And John, tell everybody, is it not cold as fuck when we've going out on patrols? When it's a full fucking moon? Which means that the moon has to be in some sort of extreme cryo environment where the temperature could be close to 0 degrees Kelvin. Zero viscosity. I did that virtual experiment online where I dropped the temperature down to 0 degrees. Guess what happened? All the molecules and atoms stopped moving. Stopped moving. They were just uniform. They just stopped. Not one was moving at 0 degrees Kelvin. And that's in liquid form and gaseous form. Just stop moving. But as far as Einstein's concerned, shit, I changed my fucking graduate school major, man, to fucking computer science and machine learning. I decided not to study fucking physics, get a degree in physics.
We gotta tie in 0 degree Kelvin into lack of time too.
No, I mean, well, understand, you gotta have another cryo environment. Something is happening to keep superfluid helium in liquid form at 0 degrees, because you don't stay at 0 degrees.
I see. Yeah.
You can't stay there. Something else is happening to keep it there. We just don't know what that is. We're trying to figure that out. But that's where the moon could be. The moon is cold. The moon ain't fucking hot. The sun is not reflecting its light off of the fucking moon. Period. I'm sorry to say that, Luke, but now I'm starting to believe the sun is not charging the moon in the daytime. It can't be, because at nighttime during a full moon, it's fucking cold. It's colder during a full moon than it is any other time when you see the moon. So Vivian said in the last hangout we did that there's a possibility the moon is doing some sort of flickering or spinning at such a high rate of speed that when you get something spinning like that at a high rate of speed, it'll generate its own light.
Robert, is it possible that since we're starting to reconsider the whole thing with a flat Earth, is it possible that maybe the moon acts as a lighthouse in the sense that it could be a sphere or whatever it is, but inside of it is an inner disk that's rotating? Because when you look at the lighthouse, the phases of the lighthouse, when you look at it, gives the waning and waxing phases. And I'm wondering if you've ever seen like Morton's moon in your room. It basically does exactly what the moon phases does with a sphere and an inner disk inside that rotates.
Well, I want to go off of something that Robert Shortman has said. Robert Shortman was down in Antarctica. He says they got ice down there that's so fucking blue. I mean, it's like a dark it glows.
Yeah.
And Robert Shortman, he's been down to a place where literally you're talking about the purest and bluest and brightest fucking ice you've ever seen, dude. He's seen it. I think the moon's just nothing but a fucking giant ice ball.
Wait a second. You saying when you carve the ice out of that blue looking structure, the ice itself is blue? The color blue? It's not slick?
Yep.
Robert's he's been down.
Yep, it's blue.
What's causing the blue color in the ice?
The pressure of the ice and the fact that it deoxygenates it, so instead of it being clear or white how it normally looks, it's blue.
Just like obsidian, when lava cools rapidly, it can turn black if it's in cool water, but if it's in ice cold water, very cold temperatures, obsidian turns blue. So I think that because of the cold temperature, it would probably relate to the same thing where the ice is turning cold because of the temperature. Or, I'm sorry, blue because of the temperature.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, man, I'm never discussing Einstein fucking again. If his name ever come out of my mouth again, it ain't gonna be nothing nice. But the speed of light is bullshit. Nothing is traveling at the speed of light. Nothing. Nothing.
Yo, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you'll have to prove that spinning moon theory.
Yeah, Vivian and I actually talked about that. We're still going over some of the data. I mean, Robert and I were actually discussing too. Robert and I are going to do a show where we talk about, because we actually have some of the numerical data they have from those lunar laser ranging observatories, and they put the data online, and we've got the actual ledger to know how to decipher it. And what we're going to do is decipher some of the data to see exactly what the actual distance has been. Because when they lasered the moon from these observatories, those numbers actually have the speed inside that data. So that'll tell us, because this one guy that wrote that paper that we reviewed the other day says that the moon actually moved 948 kilometers in 2.5 fucking seconds. So that means the moon and the sun move 590 fucking miles, 29 miles in 2.5 seconds. That's fucking really. That means that the moon is moving real fast. That means in 15 minutes. I mean, that's just some serious high speed. And people saying they're seeing a wave. You know, the moon is moving up and down, so it's coming down to a lower altitude where it hits a specific atmospheric layer where you see the wave, and it's not in a zero viscosity environment. And then it starts to oscillate back up again, and then eventually it just disappears. As night goes on.
I think you're right.
But it's cool.
Certain periods of time when it does that, it seems to be on like the third phase of the moon when they see this particular thing. So that must be when it's lower down or within this layer that gives it more visibility. Yeah,
and I think and and think about that. All that data NASA put out saying that the day side, the side of the moon when the sun was shining is 240 degrees. 235 degrees in the sunlight and minus 235 in the shade. That's bullshit. I think the whole fucking moon's cold as fuck. And get this, when you look at some of the video, right? I'm not saying they went to the moon. If any of you guys ever been out in the wintertime and say you got like a quad or something like that, you got a bicycle, you don't see much dust or any fucking thing being kicked up in cold weather, do you? Because everything is more dense. So
good point.
If I wanted to say, okay, yeah, fuck it, they went to the moon, and I take the video that they actually shot, I'll tell you here right now, that video is more consistent with being in a cold environment than being in a fucking 240 degrees. Because the speed in which that rover was moving, if it was hot. When you go from extreme cold, when you go from minus 235 degrees to plus 235 degrees, that fucking dust on the moon would have literally become so fine and just crystallized to where that rapid fucking temperature change, it should have been a cloud. He should have been like a fucking pigpen from fucking Charlie Brown. That rover was moving through. He should have been kicking up a whole dust full of shit. But they're saying, no. That wouldn't have been possible, Robert, because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. Fuck that atmosphere shit. He still should have been kicking up dust. Even if it wasn't an atmosphere, he still should have been kicking up a shitload of dust.
Yeah, and it's 20% the gravity of Earth, so it's 80%.
Exactly. There should have been a shitload of dust being kicked up. What happened when they showed the video of them launching? Look how much dust got kicked up, right? Look how much dust got kicked up. Why wasn't there was no dust on the legs of it? But again, everybody will already address this. The reason why there's no dust on the legs of the lunar lander is because they weren't on the moon and they forgot to put the shit on there, whatever have you. But in a cold environment, you won't have that shit. Robert can tell you that.
Yeah.
Guys, we have an annual solar eclipse tomorrow in about a little less than 5 hours.
Tomorrow?
That's what it says, September 1st, 2016, annual solar eclipse. The countdown is 4 hours and 55 minutes. The lunar eclipse was explained, as far as I'm concerned, is the moon basically covering the sun. They're the same approximate size. What about the solar eclipse? That was a question that was asked a lot earlier in the chat.
So, I tell you, when John and I started doing this whole thing, we said that we'd go start at the quantum level and move out, man. And we're trying to move out as far as we can. I can't address. I would love to, but these would be 8-hour hangouts, and ain't nobody gonna go back and listen to a fucking 8-hour fucking hangout, man. Yeah. I want to keep these to like 1 to 2 hours. Keep them informative. Show people, what it is we're talking about, what we're trying to illustrate, what we're trying to figure out. But this one was about signal transmission and light transmission, and basically having people just put to rest, fuck Einstein, man. Yeah. They're trying to keep this shit alive with all these papers. They all discuss c squared, c, speed of light. Man, come on. What this dude did back in the fucking 20s, and what he did in the 30s and 40s was in a controlled environment. And then everyone... Standard physics stays applying that shit to everyday life, man.
That's it, and they can't even do quantum mechanics with Einstein theory, it doesn't work. So I mean, that clearly states it's absolute nonsense to start with.
But they'll tell us that, oh, we created this technology based on Einstein's theories.
Exactly. Yeah, they have to reference it to do
They
that.
got a reference that says, well, how do you explain this technology? We based it off of Einstein's. The fuck you did? You didn't.
Yep. It's bad, isn't it? It really is bad.
Because if you did, and that shit is perfect, then why the fuck did my car break down? Why did that rocket blow up? Why did that plane crash? Why I didn't get that fucking email that Aaron sent me 2 weeks ago? Where the fuck is it? I tell you what, think about this, and I'm gonna make a joke out of this shit. If somebody said they sent you an email fucking 10 minutes ago and you didn't fucking get that motherfucker, don't think that somebody intercepted this shit. Just think that motherfucker was moving so fast it just went right past your ass. You didn't even see it. Because what ends up happening, if I send an email to Robert right now and says, Robert, you get that email? No, I didn't get it. Well, fuck it. Let me just read it to you anyway, bro. I have to slow it down. You see what I'm saying? Yep. You see how they have to slow down the transmission data of this shit they say that's out in space so that they can actually read the data? Because it's traveling so fast, they don't have the equipment to read it. So in the future, if I ever send any one of you guys an email, you send me one, and I say, well, shit, I didn't get it, then you got to slow the shit down for me. Call me up, man. Let's talk in real time. Because we can't fucking we cannot communicate in quantum fucking time. We can't communicate on a quantum level. We can't comprehend it right now. And I say right now. I'm not going to say never. There's some of us who can interpret data on a quantum level. We could transmit saying, well, hey, this is what's going on. You know, I thought about this. Did you think about that? Well, yeah, I did. That's an interesting thing. You said that because I was just going to bring that up. Well, shit, we're in sync with each other. That's where this whole collective consciousness thing is coming from. When you get people who are now starting to agree with everything, and you're starting to see, I'll do a video and then somebody might have did the video fucking 2 weeks ago, and I didn't even know about it. Or somebody will do it 2 weeks later and didn't know that I did the video. That's where the message is starting to spread so fucking fast, you don't know who's saying what. People saying, well, you got this from me, or I got this from you. Well, hey, you copying this. Fuck that. It's everybody's information. I don't give a shit who remembers my shit. It's everybody's information. You either agree or you disagree with it. If you think there's different information out there for you, then hey, pick up your Bible, pick up your Quran, do whatever it is you do, pray, whatever.
I disagree.
Or just sit there and wait for the shit to fall inside your head.
I disagree.
I know you disagree, Jay. That's why you're here, bro. Because we're not here to all agree with each other at all. We're not here to agree with each other. You know, Jay, I don't agree with what you said. Now, do I understand where you were coming from with that and where you were going with it? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that eventually I won't agree with it. But for right now,
to read the data. You got to be able to decipher the data.
See, you starting to antagonize him, Devon. You starting to antagonize John right now. You two gonna end up doing a fucking hangout on your own, bro. I can see what this is gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, I caught it. I was snickering.
But my point being is that our whole collective consciousness is how am I going to describe this shit? We are communicating with each other without even realizing we're communicating, and we don't know how we're communicating.
It's one field of energy, possibly.
Yeah, I'm communicating with you right now. Can you see what I'm communicating with you?
Yeah, you had to slow it down. You had to slow it down. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm giving you a symbol right now.
Yeah, to give you
a finger symbol. Yeah.
It's the same reason.
He's giving you a shocker.
Radio waves are flying through us right now. Radio waves are flying through us right now, but we can't tune into the song that's playing on the radio right this second with our bodies.
You know what? Yeah. You know what's funny though? There's so many times that I've turned on the radio and I was already singing a song. I don't listen to the radio anymore, but I used to turn it on and it would be right the song I was singing. And I was in my head, and I'm wondering, are there radio waves? Yeah.
That's the same thing happening this morning. I woke up singing a song that I had actually listened to 2 weeks ago. It was in my head. I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing waking up fucking singing that shit in my head for? You know, what's going on? But that's where we're at with this right now. And we're going to keep going further. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about later on in the week, but if anybody got a subject they want to talk about.
Information.
All right, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down information even more.
Okay.
For John. Because, you know, John's got Vivian, he's got Lucas. You know, I got Robert Shortman and Javon. Aaron plays neutral on that one. I'm cool with that. Aaron plays neutral.
On which one?
You're the neutral guy.
On what?
You're neutral on everything. You don't take sides.
Okay, all right.
You don't take sides. But you know, John.
No, I do. I do. I mean, I take sides, but I mean, I like a lot what John has to say. I mean, I started listening to you, Robert, from the very beginning with your shows, and I heard John jump on there, and I like what John. I mean, I love what John has to say. I love what everybody has to say on here. So I don't know if it's that I don't take sides. It's just that I think everybody has so much to offer that, you know, I'm just trying to absorb it all in because it's all relevant.
Right. Taking sides interrupts the building process.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like one idea after another, and it just builds up, and we come to conclusions.
John's got a fan in chat, William Hill. He says John is the voice of reason. And then Hester Piney started laughing. He laughed out loud. So it's a mixed bunch, and it's good though, man, because we got good people out there in the chat talking about stuff. One dude brought up something. He says God spoke creation. With Croatian disciple, I'm not going to say God spoke creation, but I will go with what scholars say in Islam, where they said that creation was actually a sound. It's a sound. They believe God is a sound. They believe God is a sound. It's a sound that can't be comprehended by human consciousness.
Right. The same way, you know, all things make sound. You know, when the wind blows and things of that nature.
Yeah, but get this. About 2 years ago, you know, I was doing some meditation, and I started looking for audio clips online, especially on YouTube, from science observatories who were monitoring the sun. And I wanted to see if I can actually get a real recording of the sound of the sun. The only recordings I was able to find from all these observatories was recordings where they actually had to speed up the frequency. They had to raise the frequency of the recorded sound just so that you could hear it on the human level.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Because giant. You know, the bigger the object, the lower the frequency.
Dude, when I played with the audio on the headpiece that I was using, and I dialed it down by half, dude, the sound that you hear just by dialing it down by half was oh my God, it was like the deepest, like ohm. I mean, I don't even know if it was ohm, but it was so deep, dude, that I literally felt the vibration literally from the base of my skull all the way down to the base of my spine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, it made
all these things are making sound. They are making sound frequency.
I can't even describe what it sounded like.
And for me, that is the cause of the movement. From my opinion.
No, but the resonance itself caused literally my entire spinal column to vibrate at a high frequency rate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the weirdest feeling I ever had, man. I've been trying to find other recordings.
You ran across that those experiments where the scientists would take manned vehicles and then vibrate the entire vehicle to a certain frequency in order to match a location at a distance, and then the ship just kind of appears at the next frequency distance that it matches.
I have seen that before, yes.
I've seen that one.
Right, so listen.
So these frequencies are what's causing the movement of the sun and moon and stuff.
Listen, peeps, we've been talking for a while. I don't know how long. I think we've been talking for like over 2 hours. I wanna see if I'm gonna look at the chat. I wanna see if anybody got any questions. Probably. Hey, you guys want to do another one, like say on Saturday or something?
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, man.
Everybody cool? We're gonna do it. What time? What's a good time for everybody?
Anytime for me.
Yep.
Evening.
Yeah, early evening. 4-ish.
Late evening.
So,
4,
you
yeah.
guys gonna do like 4 o'clock on Saturday?
Yeah.
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 David?
That's on it now. Yeah, yeah. I'll be home, I think.
Okay. 4 o'clock Saturday, we'll do another one. John wants to talk about information. I'm gonna definitely do some research on my own. Coming at him strong on this one. You better believe that.
John, I have a question that I wanted to ask you specifically, or anybody else, but you kind of specifically. I have a theory of what the dome is made of. It's obsidian, blue obsidian, and it basically deals with if we have a ring of fire studying volcanism, and then if we do have a ring of ice, it could follow Paschen's law, that the lava cools rapidly, creating blue obsidian, which would explain why the sky's blue during the day and the water's blue during the night. And it says basically when volcanic molten lava breaks down into obsidian, blue glass due to liquid hydrostatic pressure, changes in the phase of the medium causes a breakdown into a spherical bubble process. And bubble spheres exist in gas pockets at the surface of electrodes in the Antarctic ice exterior. The bubbles, when applied to Earth's electric field radio wave electric mediums, elongate those spherical bubbles until the obsidian dome's length is met with a low atmospheric, high pressure, low oxygen, creating a fluid-bearing hydrostatic equilibrium with a continual flow of lava from volcanoes. And it would explain when the Bible says liquid molten lava looking glass, Job 37:18. I wanted to get that out there because I've been wanting to ask you that, John, for a while.
Yeah,
my theory on that is sapphire. So is that very different? Isn't that very different from sapphire?
It's very different, but the reason why I say obsidian is because the Bible refers to it as a glass, and obsidian is glass, and blue obsidian is only created whenever lava is cooled very rapidly, and it's also dielectric, and it's also the color blue, and it would explain a lot. So I was just wondering, following Paschen's law, the bubble theory, it seems to kind of fit.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
I still think, Robert Bassano with the low density water, and the water's in other states rather than the 3 states that they state. I think that's where it comes from. So you've got low density water, hard water at this low level in the sea, and then I think you've got a similar thing high level, whether it's sodium or a particular type of fluid state. Again, not within the 3 densities of matter as what we know, but other states like what Tesla is working on, ether, and the detection of these other forms of states which can, you can put matter into.
What do you think of that theory, John?
Yeah, can you repeat everything after I got a question for John?
Oh my God.
I'm only kidding, man. I'm only kidding.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I listened to what you had to say. The only problem I have is you can't test it.
You can't test it, but so it's a theory. But what my theory is revolving around is Paschen's law. It's the bubble theory. So yeah. we do have a ring of fire, and we do theorize that we're surrounded by a ring of ice. So if you theorize it, it has the properties that would be consistent with what we would expect a dome to encompass, and it would rotate 1 degree per day. A true year is 360 days. Everything in nature rotates. It has a spiral to it. It would explain the precessions of the equinox, and if the dome is kind of organic like our body is, it would be shedding the casings of it as it's continually growing, is what we call meteors or shooting stars. That's what could be falling from it. And the reason why it says sapphire, it says as sapphire. But when it refers to it specifically, it says molten lava looking glass. So I put together lava, and what could be glass? Well, obsidian. But where's the color blue coming from? Well, the ring of fire and then the Antarctic ice wall. That's the only way to make obsidian. So I kind of piece it together that way, and I was kind of wondering what a science man has to say.
Sapphire is a crystal, and crystals grow. So I can't see like a super cooled lava growing unless it's being regenerated by the lava itself, right?
It would be regenerating by the lava itself. So when volcanic lava breaks down in the ice ring, when it breaks down into obsidian blue glass due to liquid hydrostatic pressure, changes in the phase of the medium causes a breakdown into a spherical bubble, Paschen's law. The process of bubble spheres. It exists in gas pockets at the surface of electrodes in the Antarctic ice exterior. The bubbles, when they're applied to Earth's electric field radio wave, electric mediums elongate those spherical bubbles until the obsidian dome length is met with a low atmospheric high pressure up in the atmosphere. low oxygen, creating a fluid hydrostatic equilibrium. With a continual flow of lava from volcanoes, we get a continuous blue glass dome encapsulating our flat Earth. It's Paschen's law, which I'm trying to follow.
Where's the lava coming from?
What's that?
Where's the lava coming from?
The ring of fire. So the lava is coming from the ring of fire. So volcanism, if you look, I'm not a volcanist, but if you study it, which I'm sure you guys have more than me, my theory basically says there's a ring of fire. We have a ring of ice. That fire is going out following Paschen's law, and it's eventually meeting its way up to a certain point, and then it's slowly rotating 1 degree per day, and is giving us our precession of the equinox. Kind of like a planetarium, how it's slowly rotating 1 degree per day.
You know, I was thinking about what you had just said. And I talked about it in a show one time, that I think that the asteroids, you know, these fragments that are coming out of the sky, what they call asteroids or meteorites or whatever they're actually pieces of one layer of the dome that's rotating. And what's happening is that somehow one of the layers either speeds up or slows down to create instability, and it cracks, and some of the pieces start fucking coming back down into the atmosphere and hitting the thermosphere, heating up, and that's your molten glass. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking about, because I told somebody about that there were several different layers, you know, moving at different speeds, and that when you see the meteorites or the meteor showers coming out of the sky, that's because pieces of the dome are actually cracking, and they're falling out of the sky, because people had said that there were big blocks of fucking ice coming out of the sky. And I told somebody, if you ever haven't been a hailstorm again, pick one of those bad boys up and lick it and taste and tell me if it tastes like salt, because according to the European Southern Observatory, there's sodium atoms up at 90 to 110 kilometers.
I've got a meteor right here with me if you want. I'll bring it next time I see you.
Wait. Are you joking?
No, I don't. I have. Have you been to the? Sorry?
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Wait,
you got a meteorite fragment?
I do, yeah.
Oh, come on, dude. You lived like 10 minutes from me and you didn't tell me about this shit?
Yeah, well.
Come on, dude.
Surprise.
Well, hang on, because have you been to the desert?
Can you show it on video? Can you show it?
I have it in my other apartment. I'll bring it next time. You know, the one I have in Manila. So it's over there.
Dude.
I'll bring it. We can test anything. I don't care.
Oh, okay. Dude, it better not be no damn rock from, like, fucking Bogota or something.
Well, I'll show you. Well, have you been to the desert in...
Where'd you get it from? Where'd you get it from?
That's my ex-girlfriend brought it to me. She went, you know, the desert up north in Colombia, on the Atlantic?
Yeah.
What's it called? Let me find. It's basically right at the frontier with Venezuela. It's on the Atlantic side. It's a huge desert. It's called. I want to find.
Wait, on the border with Venezuela?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But all the way up north, it's like the tipping point of Colombia.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, dude, you gotta bring it, man. You got
bring it. Yeah, bring it. We can test anything you want, but basically, she went there.
Trish Williamson says, "I just theorized $5 million in my bank account. Let's go spend it."
But basically, they went for a drive, and we were on a four-way drive on that desert all the way. Like that's basically nobody. It's like emptiness. And the guy took them to that. It's not really a beach. It's like right in the middle of the desert, and there's like a few fragments, big rocks. And so the guy said, "This is a meteor that came down." They all the village around, they all saw it, but years ago. And basically,
dude,
I don't know if that's true or not, if it's a mirror, but she brought a piece to me, and she brought back a piece for me, and I have it. So yeah, we can test it, do anything you want. It's basically.
Hopefully I don't get sick, man. Hopefully I don't get sick touching it, because then that means that I might come from, the planet Krypton, man. I may be part of the Superman team.
That's good, but you see, it's.
I'm kidding, bro.
Well, the thing is, it was right there, sitting in the sand, and it does what when you touch it, it starts, I don't know, disintegrating. I mean, it's very fragile.
What do you keep it in right now? What is it in?
It's in my other apartment. I have it on my desk. I use it as a.
You have it on your. Use it as a paperweight on your desk. Come on, dude. Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, I never made the fucking connection. It looks burned and it smells like
Come
burn.
on, you're using a meteorite fragment as a paperweight on your desk.
Yeah.
What did you say it smells like?
It smells a little bit like something has been burned. Like you can definitely smell carbon burn. Yeah, it does smell. It has a smell to it. I'll bring it next time. You can.
Wow.
I'll give it to you.
That shit, it could be fucking fossilized dinosaur shit. Who knows, man?
Remember, don't lick it. Remember, don't lick it.
Dinosaur shit or something. Or just, who knows what it could be? I want to see it, dude. You need to bring it to me, man.
Yeah, I'll bring it. I'll see if
yeah,
it's
definitely.
I'm trying to find the name of the desert to make it more.
Alright, people. We've been talking for quite a while. I want to thank everybody who's out there in chat. They've been chatting amongst each other. They've been really good people. Some of them I never even heard their screen names before, man. But some I do. But I do appreciate all of them. Trish is funny as hell. Yeah, click the wheel next to the when you're open. Okay. If anybody wants any information that we talked about, I'll send it. I'll send the email to anybody. I'll put my email in the chat right now. Shoot me an email if you want any of the documents. If you want access to the cloud file that I have, I'll share that with you all as well. And other than that, we're going to do something on Saturday at 4 o'clock. I'll put up that little advertisement right now before we call it a night. But again, I want to appreciate it for everybody who's out there on the panel too. I really thank you guys. And we're going to continue this on again. We're going to talk about information on Saturday. And John, tell you what, bro, have your coffee, all that shit ready, man.
Heck, I'm still waiting for the first and second law of thermodynamics violations.
Oh, bro, don't start.
John, I didn't get I didn't catch your response to my proposed theory. Do you have any? Does it sound something that's even that I should entertain, or does it sound like it's not?
No, I just had a couple issues, and this is in general. Don't get upset and don't think I'm nitpicking.
I'm not going to get upset at all, brother. Please nitpick.
No, it's not the substance. It's the first thing you said when you said theorize.
Yes.
See, scientific theories are the result of confirmed, validated hypotheses. So that's not a theory. It's a conjecture.
Okay.
And number two, I want you to check into what you called hydrostatic pressure.
Okay.
And I want you to check and see what causes it, and then we'll talk the next time.
Okay, brother. Thank you, man.
Now, but your overall thought, though, of the molten looking glass is right on point.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got a question about that. The ring of fire, is that the same ring that lady found that I guess they never found her body or whatever when she had went to the edge as far as she could possibly go or whatever, and some guy found her camera and a note that said,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The note said that the debate is over. I've seen the edge or the rim or the.
No. I think the note says I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
That's all she said.
The debate is over. I've seen it. The debate is over.
That's all she said.
But what it implies goes back to what she was trying to define. So it's kind of an implication. It's not exact, but yeah, it kind of implies that. Yeah. But no, that's not based on what I'm trying to say. Mine is just I'm not using the right words. I'm not scientific minded, and John reminded me of that. But I guess my conjecture is that if there's a ring of fire and if there's an Antarctic ice wall, blue obsidian is only made that way. The Bible says that it's a liquid molten lava looking glass. Obsidian is dielectric. It has all kinds of properties that would fit in with the dome. It would explain our atmosphere and a lot of different things. And everything that grows organically has a type of rotation to it. a true year has 360 days in it. If it's rotating 1 degree per day and it's growing continually, obsidian, when it's following Passion's law, when it's following, if it's going up and it's eventually forming a top, it would eventually come to a cone shape or a hemisphere. And if it's rotating 1 degree per day, letting go of the casings like our skin sheds, it would be a good explanation. But that's not very scientific minded, but it's kind of a conjecture. And I just wanted to get some people's ideas on it because that's something I've been thinking about. I had a trip on some psychedelics, and that's why I thought of it. So I figured, you know what? Let me get some scientific-minded people to.
And you know what? You and Luke get along just fine, bro. You and Luke get along just fine.
You're in the right.
Well, hell, Robert's been tripping for the past few weeks, so you're good to go.
I have something to say. Dome itself. I believe that, well, the dome is an electromagnetic barrier, like something like what Tesla was saying that he could create, and I believe that the meteorites that we see falling from the sky is actually like leftovers of the Earth when it was being created, and it just.
You saw that on the Discovery Channel, dude. You saw that on the Discovery Channel. I saw that one.
Nope, not at all.
They were saying that
it have gaps in the electromagnetic barrier that the crystals fall through, and that is how we get the meteorites. That's my theory. It cannot be proven, so you know.
Yeah, the scripture said it's solid.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with a sapphire until you guys develop your conjecture.
But it says in the Bible, it says pounded out as brass. It says looks like sapphire, but then when it explains what it is, it says it's a liquid molten lava looking glass.
Wait, where does it say that in the Bible?
In the Bible, it says it's pounded out as brass, and then it also says it looks as sapphire, but when it describes it as a descriptor, it says liquid molten lava looking glass. That's the reason why it came to it.
Where does it say that?
It's in Job.
In Job?
Job, hold on, I'll tell you where it says it. Give me just a second, brother. 38, hang on. 37:18, Job 37:18. Hast thou stretched out the heavens which are strong as molten glass.
All right.
Molten lava looking glass. And the other ones are descriptives, pounded out as brass. And it says looks like sapphire, but then when it describes what it actually is, it says as strong as molten glass. And so that's how I kind of came up to that.
Okay.
And it's dielectric, and you know, you can receive radio waves in most houses like brick, wood, plaster, wallboard, cement, but metal and metal-coated glasses and steel reinforced concrete reflect the radio waves. So I'm just guessing, because now that we know through slow motion HD video that lightning originates from the earth, just like you're rubbing your feet on the carpet, you touch the doorknob, it's not the doorknob shocking, it's you shocking it. So the electricity going up, what is that reverberation that we're hearing? I'm theorizing that it could be reverberation, you know, lightning going up off the dome. The dome would need to be some type of glass dielectric material. That's how I'm kind of throwing this all together.
Yeah. Okay. 4 o'clock Saturday, people. It was fun. It was fantastic. I really did. I mean, I enjoyed this, man. I really did. And for those out there in chat, I got number love for all of you, man, including fucking trolls, man. You know, they bring something to it too.
I don't think we had a single troll today. I think everybody on today.
More trolls that we can kick out.
Yeah.
Invite all the trolls.
I didn't see any trolls today.
Hey, I can find you some now if you really want them.
No.
I'll bring you Jim.
Hell
Jim over here.
Hell no. But I really appreciate it, man, for everybody. We're going to do this again on Saturday. I'm going to pick some other stuff we're going to talk about, because we're not going to go fucking forever talking about information. I'm going to try to put that shit to rest very quick too, Dad John, so be ready. But you always ready. You know we got number love for you, dude. Robert Shorman's here, Villain's here, Luke's here, we got Devar. We'll keep the whole group together. We're missing 2 people who probably couldn't make it. I know Moon Trucker couldn't make it. And Marcus. Marcus will come on Saturday, and he got some stuff to offer as well. But people, you know my motto. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. All right. And people who've been, that one damn moon video I did about, hey, I can prove the moon is not 348,000. That damn video is getting constant comments every day. People pissed off with me about that one. I don't understand why, but that video about the moon, man, that's got people hot, bro. They were like, okay, yeah, all right, you didn't prove nothing. No, I proved the fucking moon ain't 258,000 miles. So what do you got? But other than that, we're going to keep this going. We're going to keep discovering. We're going to keep debunking. We're going to keep dispelling with all this bullshit that's out there with science that we've been told, okay, yeah, go with this equation. No more fucking speed of light. Nothing is traveling at the speed of light. That's that. I think I proved it. I think we all proved it. Nothing is traveling at 186,000 miles a second. And if it is, that's because it had to be slowed down to that speed so it could be comprehended and understood and processed. But everything is traveling way faster than the speed of light. Everything. If you ever miss an email and you didn't get it, it's because it fucking went through the fucking computer. It became a neutrino. So just call me up and say, hey, Lee, what was that email about? And I'll slow it down for you. All right? But again,
Are you reading it?
Yeah, I got nothing but love for all of you. I want you guys to have all a good night. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you on Saturday, 4 o'clock. And hope you enjoyed the show. Take care. Peace out.